Hi, Michael, Narcissist Nest. So I'm gonna explain to you narcissism exactly, so anyone can get it right and understand what I'm talking about. Narcissists are a cluster B personality disorders. You have psychopaths at the top, then you have narcissists, and then you have lower ones with smaller personality disorders. Okay, so psychopaths, they have a little own world in their head, right? And they're very manipulative and they turn to physical violence. Like they break all the rules. They don't give a fuck. Narcissists are scared, right? And they manipulate you and hurt you by doing mental things to you and dominating you. And then you have lower ones that are sociopaths, and they're not really hurting anyone else. They just really go about their lives. They don't give a fuck. Low empathy. It all goes around empathy of other understanding that other people have feelings, needs, and wants, and let them do their stuff without controlling them. So narcissists, when they were from 2 to 10 years old, they had a traumatic event, and that traumatic event was so scary and so horrible. They had to make up this own little world in their head, and in this own little world in their head, they came up with it's two people now, not just them. They came up with another person, and that another other person is a big, strong person that can deal with what they dealt with in a traumatic event. So this traumatic event was so bad, they had to come up with someone big and strong to take care of it. So they came up with this other person, and this other person is in their mind like their god. It's considered a god. So they do all kinds of horrible things to you, like to cheat on you, lie to you, screw you over because they want to dominate you and feel that they're better than you. If they don't do it's this is called supply. This is a real thing. They say it's 5% of the population, but covert narcissists they don't tell anyone. I think it's like 20% of the population. It's they say 5% for sure, but I think it's 20%. I'm going to prove this later. So these people, right? They have to dominate you and do fucked up things to do. So to keep up the lie in their head. So in their mind, that it's multiple personalities. But the reason that they don't call narcissists multiple personalities is because multiple personalities has to be three. Narcissists are just two. It's the face that they put out in public, and they get supply off that because they're tricking everyone that they're a nice person and act all nice out in public. Deep down, they know that they're fucking assholes and shitbags and will stab them and fuck them over in a minute. So that gives them power. That's supply. And they need that power constantly, doing things to you over all the time, constantly. Keep up this thing because if they don't keep up with the supply, then they can't keep up with the lie of this imaginary world that they have with this imaginary God that they think that they are. So narcissists think they're like a god. Their self that they hide from everyone is like a god. And you do anything small to them, they'll come back a million times because it's just like Muhammad. And if you're a Muslim, how much you love him, and if you say something bad, it's like a god. Someone's god. Well, it's the same thing with narcissists inside their head. So that's what's so crazy about this whole situation is they were so traumatized is that they had to come up with this ulterior hidden person behind a mask, all right? And that person has to dominate and control and screw over everyone in its fucking path because if anyone's better than them, it screws up the reality of this person in their minds a god and can handle any situation because they needed that person to protect them mentally because they were so traumatized and felt helpless when they were children. They needed this dominating person to come save them in their mind. So when you do something to them, you're going against this dominating great person that saved them when they were a child, and they can't let that happen. So they'll go, narcissists, when you get in a power struggle with a narcissist, they'll sink their own ship to win the situation. It doesn't matter. Like, say you're getting a divorce with someone who's a narcissist, right? It's by the end of the day, if there's money on the line, they don't really care about the money on the line. It's they just want to screw you over and fuck you over as much as they can because they have to win the situation. Everything is a competitive thing because if you beat them, right, it fucks up the charade and lies in their head, and they can't have that. And so when you do have, like, say you're in competition with a narcissist and you beat them, so they have a traumatic thing when you do this to them. All right, it's called oh, that's the word for it. When you beat, they get like horrified. It's called mortified. When you do something horrible and you really beat a narcissist, they get mortified, right? And it's a scar traumatic thing to them because you just fucked up this crazy idea in their head that this person inside them is unstoppable, can be tricked. It's the smartest, it's the prettiest, it's the best. So This is a real thing, and they say it's 5% of the population, but because of my mother and I searched out friends and women like this, and I had so many contact. I'm just a people person, so I'm all over the place. I'm telling you, it's more like 20%. So 20% of the population does not consider you a real person or care about your feelings, wants, or needs, and they'll literally screw you over in every turn. So to find these people, once you know what you're looking for, and this is a real thing, these people are real, they're around all over the place. Once you deal with these people, how you find out these people is they will not take blame for anything, any of their faults, anything. Everything's always pointing the finger on everyone else. They will not take real faults for anything. They don't like to say sorry because in their head they're entitled to everything. There's no sorries. Their doubt is always fucked up, and it's always maybe this, maybe that, and they're always asking for other people's information, and they're really gullible. So it's horrible to say. What happens is that they're not on steady 2 feet. So to get answers in situations for their life, they ask their mom, they ask their friends, and these people have ulterior motives. They're not looking out for their best interests, and so they get fucked over. They get horrible advice because the advice wasn't made for them. It wasn't their own advice that they needed to take care of their own stuff. It goes the same thing with older narcissistic people, like my mom. My mom got left a lot of money. She blew it all. She self-sabotaged and fucked up all the money. So that's another characteristic of these narcissists is they're unreliable and fucked up. Either they self-sabotage on purpose, or they just weren't in the right position that sense and normal people would have put themselves in. So I'm telling you, narcissist is a real thing. It's not just some. Everyone has narcissistic qualities. You need them. One narcissistic quality is you think you're good at stuff. You're a positive thing. You can get through this. I'm good. I'm good. I'm a good dude. I'm strong. But narcissists take it all the way to the limit. It's just like anything else. Like having a drink here and there is not bad, but you get binge drink, you're fucked up. Narcissists, some of their qualities are good, but they take it all the way towards end of a level that they should not have taken it that fucks them up. Those narcissists will self-sabotage and burn the whole ship down before you get a penny from it. It's never 50-50. Everything's theirs because they base their life off of these things. So say you got a nice house with a narcissistic woman, they cannot give up that house because it's to them gives them status. It makes you'll actually if they lose some of that house, it'll be like taking a piece of that person. It was a main foundation of what made them feel good about themselves is that they had this. So if you take that away, it's just demoralizing and they can't lose because if a narcissist lose or you beat them in any situation, it fucks up the make-believe world that they have. It goes against that in their head and it's traumatizing because then they start to by themselves thinking to themselves like, is this real? Like, is this okay? Am I okay? So that's why they hate to lose and they get fucking mad and they flip the fuck out on you when you win or that something doesn't go their way. It's because it shakes the whole foundation of the false reality that they got in their head.